75% of people will state something they know is false out loud to a room of strangers rather than risk being the only one who disagrees. Not once. On average, across a full set of trials, they do it roughly 1 out of every 3 times they are given the chance. There is no ambiguity in what they are looking at. There is no trick of the eye. They simply say the wrong thing, calmly, and move on. Now consider what they were actually looking at when this happened. A line. A single vertical line on a white card next to 3 other lines of clearly different lengths. The task was to say which of the 3 matched the first one in length. That is the entire experiment. It is not a puzzle. It is not a riddle. It is a test so simple that a person sitting alone in a room with no one watching, no pressure, no stakes, gets the answer right more than 99 times out of 100. A child could do it. Solomon Asch, running this study in 1951 at Swarthmore College, assumed exactly that. He believed the results would be almost boringly consistent, that no rational adult would abandon the direct evidence of their own eyes for the opinion of people they had never met before that afternoon. He was not testing perception. He thought perception was the one thing immune to social influence. He built the experiment to demonstrate the limits of conformity. Instead, he found there weren't any. Here is how he found it. Each subject walked into a room believing they were one of several participants in a simple vision test. In reality, every other person in that room was working for Asch. They were Confederates, instructed in advance to give their answers out loud, one at a time, and on certain designated trials, to unanimously give the same wrong answer. The naive subject always answered last or near last after hearing every other voice in the room confidently name the incorrect line. The first wrong trial produced confusion, a flicker of hesitation, a glance around the table. But the Confederates said it again, and again. Trial after trial, the group repeated its wrong answer with total, uninterrupted confidence, and the subject sat there holding a piece of information. Their own eyes were screaming at them was correct, while the room insisted otherwise. What happened next is the part worth sitting with. Across the critical trials, subjects conformed to the group's incorrect answer an average of 37% of the time. 75% of all subjects conformed at least once. Only 25%, 1 in 4 people, never yielded a single time, holding to what they had actually seen through every trial, regardless of how the room responded. But the detail that unsettled Asch himself came afterward, in the debriefing interviews. Some subjects, when asked why they had given the wrong answer, did not say they were simply going along with the group to avoid friction. A portion of them said they had genuinely come to doubt what they had seen, not what they said, what they saw. That distinction is the entire experiment. Subscribe if you'd rather catch it in yourself before it catches you. There are 2 separate mechanisms operating inside a human being in that chair, and Asch's data lets us pull them apart. The first is normative social influence, the drive to avoid the specific discomfort of open disagreement with a group, even when you privately know you're right. This is not about believing the group is correct. It is about the visceral, almost physical unpleasantness of being the lone dissenting voice in a room of unanimous agreement. The second mechanism is informational social influence, the quieter, more insidious one. This is the assumption that if every other person in the room sees something differently than you do, the group must be in possession of information you don't have. Not, I am afraid to disagree, but I must be missing something. Later work using brain imaging on similar conformity paradigms found a striking split between these 2 states. When subjects broke from the group and gave the correct independent answer, researchers observed heightened activity in brain regions associated with social pain, the same regions that activate during rejection and exclusion. But when subjects conformed to the incorrect group answer, some of the corresponding activity appeared not in areas linked to conscious decision-making, but in regions tied to visual processing itself, suggesting that in at least some cases, the group wasn't just changing what people said, it may have been altering what they perceived. You will not find this mechanism only in a psychology lab with staged Confederates and a stack of line cards. You will find it in a conference room on a Tuesday when a project plan with an obvious flaw gets nodded through by 6 people in a row, and the 7th person, the one who actually spotted the flaw, says nothing Because 6 nods is a hard thing to interrupt. You will find it at a dinner table when everyone else calls the meal excellent and you hear yourself agreeing that it was really good, even though your own private assessment, formed the moment the food arrived, was closer to forgettable. You will find it when you and 3 colleagues witness the same event, an argument, a mistake, an accident, and after listening to 2 of them describe it one way, you quietly revise your own account to move closer to theirs. Not because you remember it differently, but because holding a different memory in a room full of matching ones feels unstable. You will find it mid-sentence in the middle of delivering a professional judgment you were fully confident in 30 seconds earlier when you feel the room's temperature shift against you and hear your own voice soften. Hedge, retreat. None of these moments feel like conformity while they are happening. They feel like reasonableness. They feel like being a good collaborator, a flexible thinker, someone who isn't rigid. That is precisely what makes the mechanism effective. It never announces itself as capitulation. The downstream cost of this is not abstract. It is a jury of 12 people converging on a unanimous verdict that not one of them individually actually believes, because the pressure of the room reshaped 11 private opinions into a single public one. It is an employee who flagged a decision internally as flawed, said nothing further once the room's consensus solidified, and watched the flawed decision get executed exactly as written. It is an entire team moving forward on a plan that every single member privately doubts, because every single member assumed they were the only one doubting it. And beneath all of these individual incidents sits a slower, quieter erosion. A person's gradual loss of confidence in their own direct observation as a trustworthy instrument, simply because it has been outvoted often enough that it starts to feel unreliable, even when no one is in the room to outvote it. Which brings us to you, right now, hearing this. Somewhere underneath conscious awareness, a small evaluation is already running, a silent rehearsal of what would happen to your own opinion if it walked into a room and found itself outnumbered. How long it would hold, where it would begin to bend, whether you would even notice the bending as it happened, or whether, like Asch's subjects, you would simply arrive at a new certainty and call it your own.